Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. So normally I talk about homeschooling on this channel. I love talking about homeschooling. You all know that. Today I am talking about everything else in my life except for homeschooling. So I am chatting more about like my non-homeschool tasks, the ones I do around the house, how I manage the house, like my personal routines, the kids' chore routines, how I try to fit some exercise in there, all the things. We're going to talk about everything except for homeschooling today. So I hope you are interested. I hope you're intrigued by like how do I set up my day? How do I set up my week? Because that is what we are talking about in today's video. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you are new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. So a little context on me and my family. So I'm a mom to 4, 8.5, 7, and 4 and 4 are the ages of my kids. Another thing you should know about me is that I tend to be highly organized, not because I'm really good at all of this stuff, but because I have to be. I tend to be a bit of a low capacity type of person. I get tired easily, really is what I mean. I have some friends who are very high capacity. They can do so many things. I'm just not one of those. And so in order to get what I need to get done in my life, I have to be more organized. And so you'll see that in today's video. But before we hop into the details of my life, I want to encourage you a bit to know that setting up routines and schedules is ever changing. It depends on the ages and stages of your kids, and it's always in progress. I feel like I'm constantly kind of working on one area while other areas are just not as put together. I'm looking at you, meal planning. I'm terrible at meal planning, you guys. It's really the next thing I'm about to pivot to try and come up with a better system, but that is part of this. You just tackle it little bits at a time. So yeah, that's just a little encouragement before I hop in and it looks like I've got it all figured out, because I don't, and it has taken a lot of time to get where I'm at, and I'm sure it will change in the future as my kids grow, as I figure out new tips and tricks. So let's just hop in to, I would say, my most important strategy. So if you don't watch any other part of this video, stay for this strategy because it's the one that has worked the best for me. And that strategy is weekly checklists. So I have 2 checklists here. I have a weekly planning list, and in this one I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So you'll see I skipped Saturday. I'll talk about that in a second. And then it is kind of linked to this one, which is my cleaning checklist, which tells a little bit more about what I will be cleaning in the living room, what I will be cleaning in the bedrooms, things like that. And what I like is it helped me lay out the plan for the day, and then it helped me assign my kids chores. So I realized that this isn't showing up very well. So I will zoom in on each part of this because I really do want to go through all of these different parts of my checklist because it will explain a lot of my systems. So I'm going to start by just going day by day, and that's probably the most important thing, is I have things assigned to specific days. Now, does my week always go perfectly like this? No, we have stuff come up. We're going on vacation. There are a lot of things that can shift my schedule, but what's nice is I know I typically do these things on such and such day, and then I can move them around on weeks that don't fit. So I'll scoot over a little bit and I'll try and put it up here. So you can see here on Mondays are laundry day. So what I do here is I do the kids' laundry, and my system works really well. I just have the 4 kids and I sort not based on colors, but based on like texture and size. And maybe I will link the laundry video I watched by Jordan Page that was really helpful for me setting up my laundry routine. But anyway, Mondays are for that, and you can see here in blue I actually have highlighted my kids' chores, because when it comes to chores, I decided to make their chores fit into my chores, if that makes sense. So it's not like a heavy lift for me to try and get them to do things. They have to do whatever I'm doing. So for instance, on laundry day, my big kids, C and P, are the ones that will sort their laundry. So they will sort into the piles. I have taught them which piles and what goes where, and then they will also put their laundry away. So that is part of their kind of special chores for the day. And when we get to the bottom of this page, or maybe the next page, I'll show you kind of their daily chores, which are very basic, more of their hygiene type chores, but here in blue are their specific everyday chores. So you can see that in blue. And then we have homeschool, which is a majority of my Mondays. And then I also have what I do for YouTube here in the bottom in red. And I also just have a very regular schedule when it comes to what I do for YouTube. Again, doesn't always go perfectly, but I shoot for this schedule. Okay, and then next on Tuesday is when I do a couple other things. So you can see I have adult laundry there. Obviously the kids aren't involved in that. That's just me, and I get up and I get that started. But we also have preschool. And so for my 4-year-olds, we have afternoon preschool on Tuesday, Thursdays. We are trying to walk to preschool. I talked about that in my latest homeschool update video, how we're trying to do that. So it's a little bit of exercise right there. And then I have here cleaning task. And so it says living room. And so then I will go to my second sheet, which is my cleaning sheet, and I will go to the living room list. And so I'll pop it up here and you will see what is on that list. And basically it's all the main living spaces that aren't like the kitchen, bathrooms, or bedrooms. This is like vacuuming and dusting, cleaning the mirrors, cleaning the floors, like sweeping and mopping. And this all starts, which I should have put this on here as like a declutter. So we put away all the toys first on both living room day and bedroom day. Those are kind of the put the toys where they go sort of day. And again, you can see what is highlighted in blue that my kids are responsible for doing is I taught them how to dust and I taught them how to vacuum. No, it's not as good as when I do it myself, but it's really helpful to have the help. So to then pull it back to my normal Tuesday, then we do homeschool, and then my daughter has ballet in the evenings, and then I have my plan for YouTube. So you can kind of see I have a pretty regular rhythm. Some people that might drive them nuts to be so orderly, but for me, it brings me a lot of peace that I don't have to think about what's coming next. It is pretty systematic. And so then if you go to Wednesday, so for Wednesday, the cleaning task is bedrooms. And you can see I'll pop up the bedroom one. That has a lot to do with the sheets, vacuuming and dusting again, decluttering. They have to clean their rooms before they can vacuum them. And then I also check all the plants. So there's certain parts of my checklist that I don't do every week, or maybe I will skip it or fudge it and like clean the sheets every other week. I know that might sound terrible to some people, or I won't check the plants every week, but it's there. And I love that it's there because it helps remind me to do those things. And so then on Wednesday, we keep going with our homeschool and YouTube stuff. And then Thursday looks a lot like Tuesday. So we have preschool, walk, I'm cleaning bathrooms, but then we also have a couple other things on our Thursday tasks. And that is I need to order our groceries, which scoot back to Wednesdays. That's usually when I do meal planning, and Thursdays are when I make the lists and order them online because I really only grocery pickup in this season of life, and it is amazing. It really is. It helps me out a ton. So back to Thursday, I will order that to be picked up on Friday, but also on Thursday I have to do things like that's a shower night for my kids. At this point, they're still good with one shower a week. Maybe that'll sound crazy to some of you as well, but that's what works for us. I take it to Thursday night because it's right before the big kids' enrichment school day, which is on Friday, and they also have to make their school lunches for enrichment school. So that's like Thursday evening. So you can see all those tasks there. And then on Friday, it's different. There's no homeschool on Friday because it's enrichment day, and I am in charge of cleaning the kitchen, and I have a huge list of tasks for that. And you can see none of them are blue because my big kids are at enrichment school. This is just what I do. I don't mind the fact that I clean the kitchen. I kind of like to keep it a little bit more clean than say the vacuuming, which I'll let slide a little bit. And then on here we also have ballet and the budget. This is the day I do the budget. This is the day I set up the calendar for the next week. And then I have some YouTube editing and a video going up that day as well. So that kind of gets me through the week. And then you can see on the bottom here, I actually skip Saturday, which is another major tip I have, is to give yourself the white space. Find a day, don't schedule stuff on that day. It will help out. Sometimes things will need to kind of float over into our Saturdays, and I'll need to take care of something that I wasn't able to take care of. But that day is set aside. It kind of has a Sabbath feel to it. It's not officially that. I don't know. That kind of stresses me out a little bit. I would love tips for Sabbath if you have them, but I tend to set it aside when it comes to chores and like what I am responsible for, because then on Sunday it is a little bit more of prep for the week. And like you can see, we have church there, we have a family meeting. So I started doing this with my husband, and it's been awesome. It really is just a time for us to touch base on our schedules. What's his schedule? What's his meetings like? Does he have evening meetings? Stuff like that, as well as here's the budget. I went through it. We're over on this, or we really need to watch the grocery budget this last week, or we'll discuss how to adjust it for whatever we're trying to save for. So it keeps him very much involved in the budget discussion, but I run the budget. I pretty much run most of the finances in our family, but we have this scheduled time to talk about things. It's also the time we talk about any kind of kid issues like that we want to be working on with each other so we can try and be on the same page a little bit better, because in the past we have struggled with that. So this little peg on our schedule does help us out with that. It doesn't make it perfect, but it does help us out, and it gives us a time to chat about things. Sundays are also a bit of homeschool prep and food prep. Now, homeschool prep does not mean what it used to. I used to do all my prep for the week on Sundays. I have switched to a once a month planning system. I just recently made a video of my planning day that I can link above if you are at all interested in how I plan pretty much once a month. What I mean by homeschool prep on my weekly planning sheet here is just kind of little basic things. Like I'll get some of the Abeka manipulatives ready for the week or whatever it is. It's just kind of the little things that I can run and grab and make sure I have everything. I double check my science experiments, things like that, that if I am not on top of, I can kind of let slide. So it's just a good way for me to touch base on those things. And then any food prep in case I want to be really organized and prep some food, then I will do that on Sundays. Okay, so that is kind of our weekly schedule, and that is how I fit a lot of my non-homeschool homemaking type tasks on here. As for chores, so you can see on the bottom of my cleaning list here, I have kids' daily chores, and I have AM and PM chores, and these are really mostly just hygiene chores. Like before breakfast, they have to have their bed made and have to be dressed. After breakfast, they have to brush their teeth. And then we can kind of get started. And I do have a whole homeschool schedule that I have shared already on this channel. I think it was about a month ago. So I'll link that above in case you want to see how some of these things interact with our homeschool, because we run that mostly from like 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You can see details of that in that scheduled video. But this is just their chores at the beginning of the day, and then you can see in the PM time, they're in charge of cleaning up all the toys from the main living area before dinner. And their incentive is this is the one time they get to watch a show for the day. That's kind of their TV time. As long as they pick up, I'd say most of the time they pick up fast enough to be able to watch something, but sometimes they don't. They dilly-dally, and then the natural consequences are they didn't get to watch their show because they were slow at picking up their toys and things like that. So you could see kind of a rough sketch of how I manage our house, how I manage my time, how I try to get everything done. There are a few things still on my to-do list. Like I said, meal planning, I am working on it. I feel like I always aspire to the idea of having almost like a permanent rotation of meals, which we kind of do for lunch and breakfast. We have a rough schedule. Like on Mondays, we always have waffles with bananas and peanut butter sort of idea. I kind of have a rough schedule. It's not always perfect. Lunches are a little less so, and then dinners are just kind of what I come up with on my meal planning day. I wish I was a little bit more dialed in on that, because I feel like I spend more time than I would like doing that stuff, but I feel like it's okay. I'm not too upset about that. I feel like that's just an area I could systemize a little bit more to help kind of alleviate some of the tension there. And same with like a monthly or a yearly to-do list. I feel like I'm terrible at this. I have nailed the weekly. Like I always know on Wednesdays I'm doing this, on Mondays I'm doing this. I feel really comfortable with my weekly schedule. I feel like I'm always forgetting to do stuff that's more on the month-to-month basis. And that drives me nuts, and I wish I was a little bit better about that, because I commonly forget things, which is another reason I have to be so scheduled. But I would like to work on kind of a monthly and yearly checklist for myself. So those are a couple things I'm still working on in this kind of homemaking journey. I mean, honestly, homemaking plus homeschooling, that's not easy. You're home all day, your kids make messes all day. It's very lived in, but I love that too. Our home is like home base, you know what I mean? And so I really do appreciate that, but it does make some of the homemaking tasks a little bit more challenging. So I think that was about all I wanted to cover. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but if there is anything you're curious about and I forgot to mention it, please ask down below. I'm happy to let you know at least what I do currently, whether it's working or not. I will let you know that. But I just want to encourage you that you can find the perfect system for you, the perfect system for your family, for your personality, for this stage of life. Usually takes a little bit of planning, but that really does help alleviate kind of the everyday stress. At least it does for me. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, take care.